Hi, it's Nikki and we're on to week 3 of Vlog Challenge, and the theme this week is books. So first of all, this is my Kindle and this sort of goes everywhere with me. It came on holiday with me last week. It's small enough to fit in a really tiny bag. So it came on the beach with me, it came on the plane with me, it was on my bedside table in the hotel, and I managed to read 3 really good books, surprisingly good books that were not summer reading recommendations or anything like that, but I am going to write about those on my blog later on this week, so watch out for that. But this isn't a blog plug, this is about books. I am a lover of holding a book, which surprised me when I now rely on my Kindle so much, but I'm a bit of a book hoarder as well. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of books. They're supposed to be on a bookshelf, but we don't have the space for bookshelves in this house anymore, so they're in protective boxes under the spare bed, and I've just been up there and I've rooted out a few of my favourites. Now, a while back I wrote a couple of blog posts, I will leave the link down there somewhere again, about my favourite books. I've got things, I think they are books, 101 classics to me, and books that I've kept from my childhood or something. So, just to prove a point, there are some books here. So this was the first ever book that I remember being read to me and also reading myself. It's called Maggie and the Roundabout. It's by Jane Hollowood. This is the actual original book, my book from when I was 2 or 3 I think. It was published in 1967, and that doesn't make, you know, I wasn't born in 67, I was born in 72, so it would obviously been out for a while, but it's now out of print. It's got colour and black and white drawings in it, and it's about a little girl, a little gypsy girl, who was given money by her father to go to the local fair, and she wanted to go on the roundabout, but instead the smells and the sights of the fair enticed her so much, so she bought candy floss, then she what did she do? She bought candy floss, she bought hot chips, and she bought something else, and then she didn't have enough money to go on the Hoopla store, she couldn't go on the Dodgems, she couldn't go on the Helter Skelter, so she went over to the roundabout, and the man on the roundabout saw her looking a little bit sad, and he said that if she turned the roundabout for him, she would be allowed a free ride on it. And there's a little bit of a disaster happens. I won't spoil it for you in case you ever get hold of this book, but Maggie and the Roundabout, it's a beautiful little children's story, very old fashioned, completely politically incorrect now, because of a couple of the words that are in it, but yeah, that's part of my childhood. Next book is, I always remember this book being read to us by our teacher when we were in Junior 2, which is now Year 4. And the teacher that I had in Junior 2 and Junior 4, so that's Year 4 and Year 6, has always been a big inspiration to me. But he read this book, and there is a twist in the tale about, it is 4 pages from the end. Unless you've read the book, it's completely unexpected. It's a really good story, and I'd say it was aimed at 10-year-olds, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. So it's A Turbulent Term of Tyke Tyler by Jean Kemp. And again, this is my original book from when I was about 9. It's even got, I don't care if you can read that because I don't live there anymore, my original name and my original address, and if this book doth chance to roam, smack its bum and send it home. So I have no idea when I actually wrote that, but there you go. Next on the list is Stories of Grandmother Omar. My grandfather is German, and we were brought up to call him Opa, which is German for grandfather, and my grandmother was Omar, and she worked at a library book supplier's in Lytham, and her spare room was stacked ceiling high with books. And part of our treat when we went round at weekend was to go and choose any book we wanted from the room, and this was more exciting for me than pocket money or anything like that. One day she gave me this book, this exact book again, Stories of Grandmother Omar, and I think, well, it's about a grandmother who lives in the attic, and she roller skates. She makes her grandson smoke 10 cigarettes when she catches him smoking. She sits on some eggs to hatch some birds when the mother abandons them. I think it's the Omar that my Omar wanted to be, or to make us think that she was, and in a little way she was. So this book's very special to me. It reminds me of my grandmother. Next is, this isn't the original book, but it is. This is one that I found in a second-hand bookstore. This was a book that we read in year 3 at high school, so that would be year 9 now. And I believe it's quite a popular book, Children of the Dust by Louise Lawrence, and it's about what happens during a nuclear holocaust from a child's point of view, or from a teenage girl's point of view. And yeah, very good story. Then, loads of people will recognise this. This is my original book. As you can see, all the pages it's very well read. The pages are falling out, the spine is broken. It is my original version of Sue Townsend's The Growing Pains of Adrian Mole. I do have the other book in the next diary. Sorry, I'm smiling because it's just so sentimental going through this pile. Yeah, so that's my original version of Growing Pains of Adrian Mole. And I actually follow at Adrian Mole 30 on Twitter, and all it is tweeted out excerpts from both diary books, but it just sends me spinning back to certain parts. And I think I'm sure I'm right in saying is that they are tweeted out on the day that they are written in the diary. So let's find today. What day is today? It's 17th of June. So 17th of June. Oh, no, it's July, isn't it? 17th of July. 8, 9, 10, 15, 16. Sunday, July the 17th. I have just seen my father and stick insects walking across the canal towpath arm in arm. I know the path is a bit cobbly, but surely Stick Insect could have walked without assistance. It's kind of my father to support Stick Insect in her hour of need, but he should be more careful of public opinion. If people see an old-looking man arm in arm with a pregnant woman, they are bound to assume that he is the father of their fetus. I hid behind the old bridge until they passed out of sight and went to call for Pandora. So there you go. Adrian Mole. Right, calm down, Nicola. The next thing is this book, again, isn't an original book of mine. I actually had the record, as in the vinyl LP, of this book, this group of stories, and recreated one of them on my radio show for Preston FM a while back. This is Joyce Grenfell's George, Don't Do That, and it's all the scripts, well, scripts, you know, in word, it's how Joyce Grenfell said them in word format. All the nursery stories. So we've got nursery school sketches, and then we've got writer of children's books, which is very, very good, and it is believed to be a complete skit on Enid Blyton. So if you ever get the chance to read that anywhere. But yeah, George, Don't Do That. Very, very funny stories. Monologues with very, very clever spacing so that you can hear in your own head the voice of the other person. So it's very, very good. Next is probably a little bit of a surprise. Complete Snooker by Joe Davis. Yes, it does have a library book cover on it, but it was actually given to me, so I didn't steal this from any library. This what became, because I play snooker, little known fact about myself, and I've had a couple of requests to write about it because I used to play snooker for a men's team. No, I haven't had any change whatsoever in that department, but yeah, I was an advantage in some ways because snooker is very much still a man's game, and in working women's clubs they very often don't let women in the games rooms. In the interest of equality, women were allowed to play snooker in the games rooms in working men's clubs. This was about 20 years ago. No, about 15 years ago. There were still some working men's clubs that didn't allow, even with that ruling, didn't allow women into the games room. So I used to win by default 50 points, just by them taking me along and them refusing to let me play. So yeah, it's handy being a woman sometimes. Anyway, I was taught snooker. Well, I played pool for many years, and my husband taught me to play snooker. So because it's 50p for a game of pool, it's only 20p for the lights for snooker. You know, we've all got to be a bit frugal at times. And when I lived back in Freckleton, I went into the working men's club. And I'll not tell the story because I will write that up on my blog. But after a bit of time, one of the guys who played snooker gave me this book, and it became a bit of a Bible for me because it is a very old-fashioned, traditional way of playing snooker. And it shows angles, it shows how to power shots, it talks about the rules, it has the signs of a good player, and it's got all sorts of little diagrams in it. See, even lines on it, even before we had the on-screen technology, it's all in here, you know. So, but yeah, it's written by Joe Davis, who was an amazing snooker player, and he knows what he's talking about. So there you go. So that's that one. I've only got 3 more, so don't worry. The next is I'm massively into local history. So I hoard books, usually about places where I love old photographs. This again is another original book. This was my mum's, and it's Sandgrown by Kathleen Eyre, the illustrated history of Lytham and St Anne's. Because I grew up, my younger years, I grew up in St Anne's. It's not Lytham and St Anne's, it's St Anne's or Ansdell or Lytham, and it's only non-locals that group it all together. Just putting that out there. Anyway, this is all about the roots of St Anne's and how people from St Anne's are called sand growners, and yeah, just a little bit of history. That's probably not interesting to anybody that doesn't live in St Anne's, so, but yeah, interesting to me. The penultimate book, again, I'm into Bibles of all sorts of things, so I'm just doing crap off the back of it. This book was bought as a present for me by, I don't know who, I can't remember now, but this is a must buy or must give book to anybody who is into 80s pop, and it is the Encyclopedia of Classic 80s Pop, and it gives you the history of probably every single artist, group, singer, performer, well, pop performer from the 80s, and it's obviously very wordy. It is illustrated in the middle with some nice colour pictures, but it's just a very, very good book. And I do like that at the end of each chapter, it has a pause sign. So I thought that was quite a clever little addition into it. So yeah, that's my Encyclopedia of 80s Pop. And the last one, this was my buy of the year about 2 years ago. It was a present for my husband. He was totally unappreciative, whatever. He didn't like it. So it's been on the shelf, and I was going to give it as a present to somebody else, but I've decided to keep it because it makes me howl with laughter. It is by Mr. Bingo, and it's called Hate Mail. And this guy set up a website and charged people £10, I think it was £10? Yeah, £10, and they paid him by PayPal, and he drew a picture on a postcard and mailed it out to them. So this is all the pictures of the postcards, people's addresses. I'm a bit dubious to, I'll cover the addresses up, but they wanted they wanted him to write something on a postcard, draw something on a postcard, and then send it out to him. So this one makes me laugh. I'm going to cover up the person's address because even though it's printed in the book, I'm not sure that it's appropriate to put out. So that's the type of thing it was drawing on the postcard. You will never be as good as Peter Andre. Dear Kevin, you're a cock jockey. What else is there? Dear Stephen, you disappoint me on every level. Now the funny thing is, these were all on postcards, they weren't on letters. So the sorting staff will have had a laugh, the postman will have had a laugh, and the person gets a bit of hate mail through the post. Yeah, absolutely hilarious. Not even sure what the whole point of this book is apart from to make me laugh, but yeah, it did its job there. And it does come with a contains explicit content warning on the front of it. So yeah, brilliant. That's it. So that is my pile of books and my Kindle, which never really leaves my side now. As I say, look out for the post that I'm going to write, which is about my 3 recommended books for this summer, which are not in the charts. They are whatever. They are really, really good books. I was very, very surprised at them. And one of them I expect to be a success in the future because it's written by a very good friend of mine. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that vlog challenge 3. Sorry for waffling on for so long, but you know, I occasionally do that. I've been keeping my videos short recently, so I was bound to lapse into waffle at some point. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you've got any comments, let me know down below. Subscribe if you don't already, and I'll see you soon. Bye.